Okay, so here's the deal, friends. We're just gonna do the whole shebang about the palette because I really wish that I could like speak to every one of you in depth, but I haven't come up with a way that I could like time travel and pop into your houses like Santa Claus. That'd be cool, right? Well, also freaky, but that's fine. We don't have to talk about that. So as per usual, there's lots of different brushes and things. Don't know why I said as per usual because we haven't had this discussion in a while, so it's not usual yet. 3D brush, detail brush, blush bronzer brush. Hold on, pause. There's more back here. Don't judge my gray sweatpants. They're comfortable, you know, like don't judge them. Let me grab the brushes over here. Let me grab my things. Okay. Sit down with a cup of Joe. Why is it Joe? Why? I mean, I'm going to tell myself Joe is a female, like Josephine. Because why is it always got to be a dude? I don't want to sit down with a dude. Boring ass man. Joe, you suck. Also, don't know if there's like a stain or if that's a shadow on my shirt, but we're just going to keep going. Okay, so real quick, you know, the palettes come in multiple sizes. So you can pick any size you want and build it to be your own. I have it linked, you know, my exact palette, but like the main colors in multiple different sizes on my link tree. That's why I love this product, is because it's literally, sometimes I pack the tiniest little one, which is like a lip cheek and my main color to put in my T-zone, and that's it. And then sometimes I'm like, I want to go the whole shebang, and I have my whole big doodad, and you know, this one has 3 layers, have eyeshadows, multiple things going on. So you can really make it your own, okay? Or they have like big daddies, Mac daddies. You know, it just like depends on what kind of daddy you want to be like. Again, we don't want to be a male, so let's say like a hot mom. Okay, don't know what's going on with the hair here, but here we are. Okay, so brushes, we talked about the 3D brush, detail brush, the blush bronzer brush. The buff brush is also another one of my go-to faves. If you're gonna get a brush and you're like, I don't know which one to get, either get the 3D or the buff brush. Those are my 2 favorites for application of your main colors. Personally, I don't know how else you'll be able to apply bronzer unless you had a really big poofy loose brush. And now the prices of these brushes obviously are $40, but it's like 2 for 1 and they last forever. Literally, I have some of my brushes that I got from about 5 years ago when I first started getting the product. I also love the line brush. That's what I like do my brows with, and eyeliner or any fine details. And then I also use it for my eyebrows, that color. I love this one for lip, actually, and like, or eyeshadow, but I love using this side. This is called the multitasker brush for lip liner and all that jazz. This is the blend brush. I like it for like highlight colors, like the true highlight, you know, like the sparkly stuff, not like, you know, what Saint refers to as highlight, which is your main color. So it just depends on what you want, but you know, there's eyeshadow brushes and all that stuff, but I'm not gonna waste your time because that doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Okay, so, oh wow, I got makeup on my thingamajiggy and I need to wipe it off, but I don't have anything. It's okay, everything's good. Okay, so let's talk makeup application. Okay, so with your 3D brush, or your buff brush, see how the bristles are closer together, so you're gonna get fuller coverage there. Let's practice using the buff brush instead of the 3D brush. I would just use those interchangeably. I wouldn't necessarily think that you need to have both unless you're just like love having makeup brushes like I do, but it's not necessary. So the whole point of this makeup is to give your face dimension, right? Because that allows you to, 1, look like you know what you're doing with makeup, and then 2, highlight the areas that you want to highlight, and then cover up and give your face shape in areas that it either doesn't have shape, or, you know, accentuate the times in places you've got shape. So main color, I'm going to use this side, the bigger side of the buff brush, and you're going to post, I don't know why I said post, but you're going to dib a dab, okay? This is how much product I picked up, and honestly, this brush picked up a decent amount, and why I say dib a dab is because I want you to take the product and kind of spread it out across your face, and then gradually bring it all together like this. Otherwise you're gonna waste a lot of product and you're gonna get super duper heavy coverage and you're gonna eat through your palette. The other idea of this makeup is that you're not layering, right? So you're not gonna put this main color, which is called a highlight, where you're gonna put your blush or your contour. So you'll see I just stopped putting mine right about there and my contour will blend into that. So carrying on, I do bring it up a little bit into my T-zone, but mostly I'm gonna use the second one for that. If you're looking for a super light look or a heavy look, obviously you could layer, but I don't like layering because I like a lighter coverage, especially for the everyday. So it doesn't take a lot. And then same brush, same end, I'm going to the lighter color, picking it up. It's a little dib-a-dab motion. I'm gonna bring it under my eyes here. See how it's slightly brighter than my main color, but not like a ton. We don't need to go psycho, but you're gonna bring it under there. And then and notice I haven't re-dipped my brush. And just bring it up and down where you need coverage, okay? We'll blend the rest in a minute, but I just want you to see that. Okay. Like, I should have never been allowed to, like, make a YouTube channel. Like, this is the, like, I'm gonna make each video like a 75-minute video. Sorry, refocus. Same brush. Let's actually flip it over. And now we haven't used this lighter one yet, but we will. We're gonna go to our contour. Smaller little side. I like to dib-a-dab, okay? You're picking up makeup on the brush. It's not a ton. And we're gonna go right here above. See where my cheekbone falls, right? But I'm gonna go right on my cheekbone to give it like a lifted face. Okay, so I'm gonna dib-a-dab there. Ta-da. And now it's not perfectly connected yet, but we haven't done that for a reason. Okay, dib-a-dab it on this side. I need a little bit more. So I'm dib-a-dabbing. It's almost like it sticks to the brush as opposed to like a liquid that you need to like pour onto the brush. Okay, so cheeks are done. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna blend it differently. So let's pretend this is pretty much the only brush we have, and that's what we're gonna do. Well, for the main highlight colors. Okay, you get what I'm saying. So gonna kind of carry it out, kind of dab it over. I like a really strong contour on my forehead because your girl's got a big head. Okay, you can't help. Sometimes you can't help what God gave you, okay? I mean, sometimes you can, but that requires anesthesia and money. Okay, so I brought it out over here, and then again, I'm dib-a-dabbing this whole time and kind of bringing my dib-a-dabs together until it's like one. If I do a ton of this, I find that the product moves too much, but dib-a-dabbing kind of gives... It leaves the product where I want it to, but then blends it, okay? Obviously, experiment with different techniques because you're a different face and a different body. Okay, then the little slanted side, I am going to pick up some color on that. And you could always use your finger for this. You don't have to use the brush, but I obviously, it's like I don't have time to get my fingers really dirty, because sometimes I'm doing it right before going to work, and then, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to touch 900 things with a dirty brush. I mean, with the dirty finger. You get what I'm saying? Whatever. Okay, so that's contour. We've only used this one brush. I'm gonna now take the lightest shade that I have, and I could have done this before, but I kind of like to put my contour on first, but that's just personal preference. I'm gonna dip it on my nose right there, and I'm gonna bring up some there and there. And I love to put it in the corners of my eyes for coverage and brightening. Just gives like an extra little pop. And then whatever's left on my brush, I do put it on the top of my brows, but I don't put it on my eyelids, because honestly, if I put it on my eyelids, I find that my mascara, because it is cream, it is gonna start to rub off, and then it makes your eyelid all greasy. And so unless you set it with powder, I don't put it on my eyelid. I use a demi shade for my eyelid if I am putting any coverage there. Okay, so same, this cover into the brush. I'm dabbing and bringing the product to kind of together, but not moving it too much. Bringing this little dot up my nose. I'm gonna refix that contour shade by just flipping that over. And then dib-a-dabbing this down here. And I'm starting with the light shades. And then at the very end, I'll touch the contour. And no, I don't have to still, like, you know, touch my brush a million places, or, that didn't make sense. I don't have to wash my brushes a million times, even though I'm about to touch a little bit with the contour too. So here I've pretty much just brought everything together. Here's the edge of my contour, and I'm just sort of dibba-dabbing that to meet my highlight color. I'm just marrying the two, you know, my favorite phrase. Okay, I'm gonna bring it here. Bring it back together. Now, you'll still see a little bit of like a fine line and stuff, but all of that's going to go away once you do your bronzer, okay? So this is like the most legit tutorial you're ever going to receive in your life, and you just gotta pay attention. I got some on the outside. I don't like when I do that. I'm going to put a little bit there. So I like to pinch my brushes and just dab. Again, I'm dibba-dabbing. There's a reason I say that. And no, it's not the end of the world if a little bit of my brush touches my contour right there. That's why I also have my contour right next to it. I'm going to dab my bronzer here, a little bit on my cheek and up my whatever temple. And now you'll still see the fine lines of like where I put my contour, where I put my highlight. That's okay, because we haven't done the last magical step, which is to just swirl. Like, you remember like a swirly in high school and someone would like threaten you with a swirly? Well, actually no one ever threatened me with a swirly, but I always saw it in TV shows, and like honestly was kind of low-key disappointed that I never got like threatened with a swirly. Like, I never gotten like kicked into the bathroom and shoved my head into it. I mean, it sounds horrible, and I'm sorry if that happened to you, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like, why did that trend stop? I mean, I'm glad bullying stopped, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so probably a little bit of the bronzer still left on my brush end here, and I just bring it down to my chin and marry it up to the rest of my face, okay? And just swirl it around. If you're not putting makeup on your neck, then you're not doing it right, right? And then this, now that I've probably got majority of the makeup off of my brush, like that I had put on just then, I'm gonna swirl the rest of my face, and this light swirling, I'm not digging into my face, is basically going to meld everything together, because by this point all the makeup has been on my face for a minute, kind of warmed up, and it's just kind of the last thing. Okay, so there's that. And then that's when I put on my blush. I put on my blush the last. I love Saint Tropez and Pink Grapefruit. Basically Saint Tropez underneath in a peachy color kind of gives me like a bright, young, fresh look, because you know we're always trying to look young and fresh. So I put Saint Tropez. Like, honestly, during the summertime, I buy like 2 or 3 Saint Tropez and just eat through them so that I always have them, because I put them all over my face. I even do a little bit up here. I bring it down and over once the majority of it has gotten off my brush. And then literally same brush again, a little bit of Pink Grapefruit on the apples of my cheeks right here. And if I find that I've gotten like too much of the Pink Grapefruit on my brush, if I dab it out, then what, but I still want to blend my 2 lip cheeks together here, then I'll turn around and use the bronzer side again. So you can see that the brightness of that one highlight is still there on the inner corners of my eyes. At this point, if I still wanted a little bit more detail than what I was getting, if I blended too much, then I always go back in and add a little bit more. And obviously, with this brush, you can't really do like, I mean, I guess you could try the juicy lip, but it's not small enough. So I would do your juicy lip at the very end. And basically you're almost putting it on your actual lip. This looks crazy, okay? And then you're gonna bring it up into your real lip. Okay? So like, almost like you were putting chapstick on your lip, but then it accidentally just went over the edge a smidge, okay? Also, another huge favorite of mine right now recently is Hopelessly Devoted for a lip. Watch this. It's got like, it's a semi-gloss one, but that mixed with the contour, it's just like this nice little glowy deliciousness. Like, do you want to eat my face? Well, don't eat my face. That's weird. Don't do that. It's too much. Also, Cynthia in the back corner. Like, what? Okay, I can't sit still for very long, so that was good. I did good. All right. So, obviously, that's like your basics with those the 2 brushes. Blush, bronzer, and the buff brush. Whole point is to give your face dimension. You can go in at the very end. You'll see some people love to then go back in with like your medium color and just like redefine, like if you want like a strong contour, you could do that. and kind of redefined that area. Or if you messed up your contour somehow and you wanted more or less, then you can go back in with either a contour or go back in with your main highlight color. It's buildable coverage, so it literally allows you just to do whatever. But dib-a-dabbing is your best friend. And look how bright my inner eye is, right? I mean, how much brighter here is than right here. You don't want this, like right here, to be the same shade as that. And see how it gives my face dimension. If you wanted a heavier contour, do a heavier contour. But there's that, right? Okay, love you. Bye.